David Wygant, 10-minute daily reality check. Follow me, like me, think about me, play with me, look at my pictures, give me a thumbs up, read what I have to say, validate me, take care of me, do everything for me. That's our society nowadays. It's not the resume anymore, it's the hype. He or she who can hype the most can get the most attention. He or she who gets the most attention makes the most amount of money. Look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin, according to what I was reading today, is like playing a video game and trying to make money. I don't understand it at all. So if somebody would like to really sit down with me and explain Bitcoin to me, the technology behind it and everything else, I'll give you a free hour of coaching. I mean, because I really want to understand what this thing is, because I don't get it. Do you have to buy a coin itself? Do you have to buy a piece of a coin? Can you buy a quarter of a coin? Can you buy a crumb of a coin? What if I buy a crumb of a coin for $200 and it goes up a certain percentage? Do I have more of the coin or do I just have more money? How do I cash out? Because aren't I only getting a bit of a coin? There's so much hype around Bitcoin nowadays. There's talk that Bitcoin's going to be 45,000 by the end of next year. The more people say it, the more it's actually going to come true, because if you think about it, what we put out into the universe, our thoughts and our beliefs actually create exactly our outcomes. So if people are talking about Bitcoin being 45,000 and the more people talk about it, more people will go in and buy it. The more people will buy it, the more people will raise the price, and we're going to have the wild, wild west. Remember the internet days, the internet stock days, when Amazon would be 100 and go up to 250 in one day back in the late 90s? All those crazy days, people talked and talked and talked, and they manufactured money and they manufactured hype, and that's what we have become. Since the internet.com days, it's all about the hype. The more you can hype yourself up, the better life seems to be for all of us. Take a look at the internet. The more you hype yourself up on the internet, the better your day seems to be. Posting on Facebook nonstop about how you feel, getting thumbs up, getting validated, changing your pictures. I always know when a woman is not feeling great about herself or having self-conscious body issues, she'll put some really sexy shot up there. And there'll always be the 5 to 7 guys that always wanted to have sex with them but never could, will always be the first to write something about telling her how gorgeous she is. While she's sitting there in her house, feeling lousy about herself, some strange guy she never wanted to have sex with just validated her, so maybe for that moment she feels better. Hype, 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 hype. It's all about hype nowadays. That's all it's been. You see people making millions and millions of dollars on no talent whatsoever. Go to YouTube and put in practical jokes, and you'll see a bunch of gigglers getting 10 million views, making $10 million. It's insane out there. Every single day. God bless me. There's my hype. I just sneezed. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to blow your ear out. I tried to hold it in, but I couldn't. Maybe I'll get some hype around that sneeze. David Wygant sneezes on podcasts. Thumbs up. The most unique podcast ever. It's the 10-minute daily reality check where David will actually sneeze. It's amazing the land we are living in nowadays. Talent doesn't get rewarded at all. Recently, I was coaching somebody. The stuff that they learned before they came to me was some of the most disgraceful stuff I've ever heard in my entire life. This poor guy was trying to be something that he wasn't. He was using routines and lines that didn't even suit his personality. He went to a boot camp filled with 22-year-old guys who literally were gyrating at the thought of hooking up with a woman. The instructor, well, he of all 24 years old, took this 43-year-old man and another 45-year-old man into a nightclub at night, dressed them both in shirts, by the way, that looked absolutely hideous on the men at that age, took him into a nightclub and taught him night game, taught him how to connect with girls in a nightclub. Both of them fell totally on their face and felt really out of sorts. The instructor drilled them and yelled at them and embarrassed them in a nightclub, literally acting like some 2-bit army rep or 2-bit general in the army, yelling and screaming and trying to get them to drop down and do push-ups. This time they had to go and do approaches. Approach that girl over there, approach that one over there, speak to them. Both of them said what several times because they couldn't hear the young, drunken instructor. But the instructor who taught them had a lot of hype. He was very popular on the internet. He posted a lot of videos of himself chasing girls down the street and actually making out with them. Now, that is so cool. You know, I've watched some of his videos, and he actually chases girls down the street and makes out with random girls after knowing them for 2 minutes. And so many guys think that's the coolest thing in the world. Oh, my God, I must be James Bond if I can literally go and make out with a girl that I barely knew for 2 minutes because I'm getting validated. Hype. A story I can tell my friends, being validated on how cool I am. More hype, more bullshit. Every day people search things on Google and they look for gurus and experts. And they don't ever check out who the expert is. They don't even do any research. They believe the hype because it seems like on every web page you go to, everybody seems to be able to hype themselves out as featured in. Go ahead. Go to 10 websites of 10 so-called experts, and every one of them will have as featured in. Look, I'm guilty too, but I actually was featured in things. I actually am continuously featured in things. I actually did an interview for Entrepreneur Magazine and some Retirement Magazine today. I actually go through that stuff, but you'll see people as featured in the Dog Journal. The fuck is the Dog Journal? Voted America's top 10 dating expert by the Vizio Big Screen TV Club. I mean, you'll see this all over websites. Hype. Everybody bragging about who they are. This is what we... Hype, and more hype. Have you checked out the resumes of some of the hypists before? It's a new term we have today. Are you a hypist creating hype? Have you checked out some of the resumes of some of these people? Have you looked deep into their character? Have you looked at if they actually are rich? Because everybody seems to make that claim too. Every time you go on the internet, you can see somebody else who's claiming that they're richer than somebody else. It's amazing of what we've turned into. Every day we're marketing something to each other. We're never really checking on the person that we're talking to. But yet we believe it because we all want to be sold a bill of goods. We all want to feel better about ourselves every single day. We all want to feel wonderful. And the people behind the hype machines have taught us that the more we hype ourselves, the better our life is going to be. Because if we hype ourselves, we can drive fancy cars, live in big houses, and have everything that we were ever looking for. So much hype in today's world. How much of it can you actually believe? How many of you actually look through the claims of the magic potion that will make you 10 years younger, the diet that will make you 20 pounds skinnier, and the guru that will actually coach you and teach you how to make millions as he sits home in his mother's basement collecting his mom's welfare check? How many of you actually look deeper into the person that you're buying programs or products from or listening to you? Because we suffer from big man and big woman disease in today's society. Everybody wants to be something. We live in the land of the gurus. We used to live in the land of the lost, but now we live in the land of the gurus. Everywhere I go in Southern California, I run into another person that wants to be a guru. Some other snappy 25-year-old that thinks that they are going to be a life coach. How much fucking life have you lived to be a coach by the time you're 25 years old? Let's get serious. For all of you millennials listening right now, I know you're probably getting pissed and think to yourself, well, I'm evolved. I'm an evolved 25-year-old. The most of the stuff that you are evolved about, you've actually read from other people. No wrong with that. It means that you're actually been guided by some pretty damn good people in your life, which means you actually have some pretty good principles that you still need to iron out and figure out. You can't be a life coach in your 20s. You can have principles of being a life coach, but you're mostly teaching other things that other people taught you. How can you possibly teach a 45-year-old person who's been through 3 marriages, who's been through a divorce, who has split kids with 2 different people, how to handle that relationship better unless you actually lived it? You can't read about that in a book. If you don't have any friends that have been through it and you've never counseled people on that, that doesn't give you the right to do that. But you may be part of your own hype machine, and you might actually believe your own hype. And that's where it gets dangerous. I've got no problem life coaches being 24 years old. Well, then you know what? Teach other people your own age how to be the most spectacular 24-year-old that they can be, because that you know how to do. And I've talked to some of you, and you're all fucking pretty brilliant and really amazing to communicate and speak with. So I've got no problems with that at all. But how many of you really know what you're really doing? Every day somebody comes to me and looks around and says, I can do that. I just need a little bit of marketing, a fancy sales letter, and a little bit of hype. But I can tell you, I've ran into so many of these gurus who teach money and teach success principles, and they live in a shitty apartment and make no money. Their credit sucks. Their FICO score is basically as low as some of their testosterone levels are. But yet they're going to teach you that. The only thing they're going to teach you is how to believe in some of the same principles that they have trouble acting upon. The next time you choose a guru, I want you to choose somebody who you believe in. I want you to actually be able to call a guru up and talk to them. Before I work with anybody in any of my coaching programs, we get on a phone call and we actually talk. I want to get to know you. You want to get to know me. I want to get to know if I connect with you. And I want you to know that I've been doing this for 20 years. I might have a lot of hype behind me, but it's all fact-based. So the question is, are you buying the hype? Or are you actually researching if the person, the product, or the thing is a great fit for you? That's today's reality check. Enjoy your Sunday. By the way, 10-3 in Fantasyland. Loving it. Could care less if I win today. I've already locked up the number 1 seed. I almost want to throw the game, but how do you do that in fantasy football? How do you throw a game when you're not actually playing? I'll see you tomorrow as we head towards the middle of December this week. Lots of great surprises, lots of great guests coming. I will see you soon. Spread the hype about the 10-minute daily reality check.